What if knowledge wasn't just something you consumed? What if it was more organic, something that actually grows, expands, maybe even, well, blooms inside you?
This isn't just like a nice trip to a museum. It's designed. It's a careful blend of, yes, aesthetics, but also structured learning design. And the focus is really on how knowledge gets discovered. Not just what fact you learn, but the actual process of discovery. It's sort of an intervention in that process.
Okay, so let's dig into that. What is a bloom then? The descriptions sound lovely. Small voyages into the unknown, guided by art and story. We want to unpack how this format deliberately mixes art and story and conversation. And I think crucially, why stepping outside your usual rhythm, that kind of frantic professional pace, why that's presented as so essential for getting real insight. If we're talking professional learning, that sounds maybe a bit like a luxury. If it's not a workshop, not a tool, why should busy professionals actually make time for this?
So the core idea behind the bloom seems to be hijacking your experience of time itself. It invites you to experience time differently.
Hmm.
So the hour isn't about delivering something specific. It's more like space. Space for imagination, conversation, connection. And disrupting that usual rhythm is key because it lets your brain shift gears away from just analysis towards more creative, associative thinking, which you need if you want genuinely new insights, the kind you can't just schedule on a calendar.
Ah, okay. So it's almost like cognitive cross-training. And the locations must play a big part in that shift too. You mentioned museums, unexpected spaces, even on water. Though they emphasize the journey is always through words, the place just sets the stage, maybe?
Yeah. Absolutely. The aesthetics, the environment, it plays a really deliberate role in the learning. The space itself tells your brain, okay, this isn't business as usual.
Hmm.
When you take people out of the, standard conference room or their busy office, you're literally giving their minds permission to wander a bit, to engage with wonder.
Right, lowers the defenses. That makes a lot of sense. And the questions they use are interesting, not typical museum questions.
No, not at all. They're designed to spark imagination, not just recall facts.
Right. How does that connect to, say, international relations or business strategy?
Well, that seems to be the bridge to Christina Merl's wider work, her philosophy of poetry and business. The story bloom itself is this short, artful piece made from everyone's words and impressions during the session. It acts as an artistic echo, a reminder of that shared moment of insight and maybe vulnerability.
Okay, let's unpack poetry and business a bit more then, because that sounds like the crucial link. Are we talking literal poems, or is it more metaphorical, using creative language?
It seems to be more about the intentional use of metaphor, of narrative, of imagination to tackle problems that often feel very rigid or technical. Real growth needs that kind of disruptive, imaginative space. So the challenge, I suppose, for you listening is to think about what happens if you do make that space. What if you really let the art speak and let the conversation awaken? What new understanding, what different path forward might finally bloom inside you?